Hi everyone, welcome to Mint Canvas. In this video, we will create a productivity dashboard in Notion. This template will let you organize your entire calendar, create a task planner, and connect it to a project's database and life areas. Like a simplified second brain. This template is designed for everyone, self-employed individuals, employees, and productivity enthusiasts alike. I'll keep the design and layout clean and minimal, avoiding distracting widgets. The goal is to create a system that supports your work without adding confusion. If it sounds interesting to you, follow along. You can find a link to download the full template, complete with bonus features in the description. Now, let's get started. First, we need to create a blank page. Let's give the page a name and an icon. You can also select a cover photo. You can choose one from the Notion library or the Unsplash library. For the purpose of this tutorial, I'll choose a plain color so it won't be distracting. Now let's click on the three dots, the page options, on the top right corner of the page. You can choose from 3 font styles, but I'm happy with the first option. I'll then toggle on full width and click on Customize Page. I want the backlinks off, as well as the page discussions and the table of contents, since we don't need them now. I will also select minimal for the inline comments. The page now is set up properly, but you can edit these choices whenever you want. Next, move the cursor underneath the title and write Source Databases. The first thing we want to establish when we create a template is the main databases that will store all crucial data. For this dashboard, we need 3 databases. One to manage all tasks, one for your projects, work-related and personal, and one for your life areas. I like to set up a space to allocate the main databases, so I won't accidentally edit or delete anything important. To do this, I'm going to select the text, click on Turn Into, and choose Toggle List. This will turn a simple text block into a toggle, and this block will house our databases. Let's bold the text so it's more visible. Click Enter to place the cursor inside the toggle, and hit / on your keyboard. This will open up the block menu. From here, select the Database Full Page option. You can also type database to speed up the process. Click on New Empty Database from the menu, and give the database a name. Let's call this one My Tasks, since this will be your master tasks database. Select an icon for the database. I like these stacked disks, but feel free to personalize it according to your preferences. As you can see, we have a default column for the name and a plus icon to add columns to your database. These are properties that you choose according to how you want to organize your data. For this database, we'll edit the name property first by clicking on it and changing its name to item, and then clicking on Enter and Out. We then need a date property for when we need to perform the task. So, click on the plus icon and select the date option from the menu. I'll call this property When. Click Out. Now we need 2 more properties to help us organize our schedule according to the Eisenhower Matrix. This method helps you prioritize tasks by urgency and importance, sorting out less urgent and important tasks which you should either delegate or not do at all. To set it up in Notion, we'll create a select property and call it Importance. Click on Edit Property and add 2 options, Important and Not Important. Give them different colors to make them pop. Add another select property and call it Urgency. Add 2 options, Urgent and Not Urgent. We'll set up sorting rules later on to make the database automatically show the most urgent and important tasks up on your list. For now, we need a third select property that we'll call Energy. The principle behind this is the fact that our brain cannot concentrate and maintain high productivity levels if we work more than 4 hours per day, especially on cognitively demanding tasks. So we need to identify the most demanding tasks in our calendar and schedule them with care to avoid burnout, fatigue, and decreased productivity. We'll give this select property 3 options. High for highly demanding tasks, easy for simple to-dos, and quick for tasks you can complete in 5 to 10 or 15 minutes. You could add more intermediate options, but I like to keep things simple. Give these options different colors and maybe icons if you like to make them pop more. The last property we need for now is a checkbox to mark a task as complete. So let's add it and call it Done. You can also rearrange the columns. The first database is now complete. We'll add a few more properties later, but first we need to create the other databases. Let's click on my dashboard to go back to the main page. Here you will see the tasks database inside the toggle. Place the cursor below the database and click / and type database full page to create a new database. We'll call this one My Projects, since it will collect all your personal and work-related projects. Give it an icon and change the name on the first property to Project. We'll add a select property and call it Status. Give it 3 options: Not Started, Ongoing, and Complete. I just need one more property for this database, and that is a relation property. This type of property allows you to link items from one database to another, creating a two-way connection between them. I need my tasks to relate to specific projects, so I can better visualize and organize data. So click on Add a property and select the Relation option. Notion will ask you which database you want this database to connect with. If you don't see the task database on the list, type its name on the search bar to find it. Click on it. You can see the correct relation here. The limit should be set to no limits, and I want a two-way relation to create backlinks on the task database. Name the property Tasks, and then we'll call the property Project. Click on Add Relation, and then you're done. The two databases are now connected. Let's go back to the dashboard and check the task database. As you can see, there's a new relation property to link tasks to projects. We can input a few example tasks to test things out. I added work and personal related tasks, so now we can associate different projects for each. Let's say that the meeting with a new client is a work-related task regarding the client acquisition process that is, let's say, part of your job. We can create a project called Client Acquisition to collect all relevant tasks. You can create pages inside the project database using the relation property. Simply click on the cell and type Client Acquisition. Notion will ask you whether you want to create a new page in your project database. Click on this option and add the new project. Now, let's say the Zoom call with Acme refers to a marketing campaign. So you can add a new project and call it Acme Marketing Campaign. Next, let's say that the email for Devon also concerns the marketing campaign, so you can drag down the same option from the row above. Wash car is a personal task that doesn't really need a project, so just as the first task. We will then relate the business proposal to the client acquisition project. Same with the contract terms. As for the marketing masterclass, we'll relate it to advanced marketing course. So let's pretend you are taking this course and you want every task pertaining to the course to be sorted neatly in one place. We'll take advantage of templates later on to create specific pages for each project and life area. For now, we need to create the third and last database. So go back to the dashboard and create a new database. Call it My Life Areas and give it an icon. Rename the first property and add a relation property. I want it to link to my tasks with a two-way relation. I'll call this property Tasks and the related one Area. Add the relation. Repeat the process for the projects database. Add a relation property and link it to the corresponding database. Call the relation Projects and the related property Area. Now, to start linking the three databases, we first need to input live areas on this database. Let's relate the projects first. Client acquisition and the marketing campaign will connect to the job area. And for skill development, we'll link the marketing course. Now, go back to the dashboard, select the last two databases and drag them into the toggle. By doing so, all main databases will be stored away safely inside this block. Open up the task database and relate all tasks to live areas. Now that we have linked all three databases together, there's a last step we need to perform before creating the layout for our dashboard, and that is adding templates. Templates in Notion let you save up a lot of time when adding pages, since you can have properties set up in specific ways and even custom blocks to organize data. To add a template, go to the blue button of the database menu and click on the down arrow. Click on New Template. You could give the page a name, but I don't think it's necessary. For now, let's give the page an icon, which for the tasks will be a simple check mark. Now you can see the Customize Layout option below the title. This relatively new feature in Notion lets you organize the layout of the database pages and arrange properties in a way that's more user-friendly. Let's click on the option and access the customization window. You have your general page settings on the right column. I want comments set to minimal, page discussions off, and untoggle the property icons. As for the sections, on the left, you can personalize the heading and the property panel. Let's start with the heading. Click on the panel and go to the options below. Turn off the backlinks. Now you can pin properties below the title. In this case, I'd like to see the due date for each task, so I'll pin the when property and the checkbox to mark a task as done. I would also like to see the linked project, so I'll pin this property as well. Now you can see the three properties on the heading panel underneath the title. As for the property group, leave the rest as is. Now that we are done customizing, let's save by clicking on Apply to all pages. You can see the updated page layout now. Let's click out, go back to the template menu, click on the three dots next to the new template we created, and select Set as Default for all views in my tasks. We have now created our first template. Move the cursor to the top left corner of the database and click on the little checkbox that appears. This will select all pages of the database. Select the three dots icon on the menu and choose Edit icon. Select the check mark to update all pages. Now you know how to create a template in Notion. Next, let's open the projects database. Create a new template and give it an icon. Click on Customize Layout and edit the page settings as before. Then go to the heading panel and turn off the backlinks. I want to pin the status and the area for my project. Click on the property group where you can see only the related task property. I don't need to see this property because we will create a linked view of the database in a moment. So let's click on the eye icon here and select Always Hide. Let's click on Apply to all pages. Now for the project template, I want to see only related tasks inside the page. So if I want to focus my work on a specific project, I can open up its page and access only its tasks. To do that, let's go to the body of the page and add a heading block. Type Planner and make it Heading 2. Below the title, we'll create a linked view of our tasks database. In Notion, linked views allow you to display and interact with data from an existing database on different pages, while maintaining a connection to the original database. Essentially, they are copies of the original database, but you can apply unique filters, sorting rules to each linked view without affecting the source database. So let's type /linked view and select the option from the menu. Notion will then ask you to which database you want to link. I will select the My Tasks database. If you don't see it, just type its name on the bar here. Let's select New Table View, call this view To-Dos, and change the icon to a list bullet. I like the table view option, but I don't need to see the database title, so I untoggle the option. I'll also toggle the vertical lines as well. I'm okay with the rest of the options, so I'll click on Done. On the View Settings window, click on Filter. I need to apply a filter to this view because I only want to see tasks relating to a specific project. So we need to select the project property from the list and set a rule that goes when project contains new page, which is the template we are creating. This is a self-referential filter that will pull pages from the tasks database and connect them to their respective projects. Okay, now we can tidy up the view by rearranging its properties and hide the ones we don't need to see, like the project property and the area. Now, on this view, I want to see only tasks that are not completed. So I need another filter rule. To add a filter, you can either go to the Settings and select Filter, or click on the filter icon from the database menu. If you click on Add Filter, you will see the property list, select the checkbox, and then Unchecked. So the database will display only tasks where the checkbox is unchecked. I then want another view for all completed tasks. To simplify the process, let's just duplicate this view by clicking on its name and selecting Duplicate. Call the new view Completed and click on Filter. Change the second filter and select the Checked option. Finally, since this is a planner, I like to see my tasks on a calendar as well. So I'll duplicate the database once again, call it Calendar, click on Layout and select the Calendar option. This will create a monthly calendar view. If you prefer a weekly calendar, go to Show Calendar As and select Week instead. Remember to edit the filter and delete the rule regarding the checkbox only. Our planner is now complete and the template is all set. Click outside the window and set the new template as default. Select all pages of the database and change their icons. Update the statuses of the projects as well. Next, we need to add a template to the Areas database. So let's open it and create a new template. Give it an icon and customize the layout. I won't pin any property on the heading section, and for the property group, I want to hide the tasks and projects properties because we will create a custom template inside the page. Apply the changes to all pages and go back to the template. Put a cursor inside the page and add the first heading, called Projects. Below, let's add a linked view of the Projects database. Create a new table view and select the gallery layout. We'll call this view Active Projects. Hide the database title. For card preview, select None, and for the card size, you could select Small. Leave the rest of the options as is and click on Done. Now we need a filter to show only projects relating to a specific life area. Click on Filter, select Area, and as the rule, Area contains New Page, which is the title of the template. Click Out. The second filter will show only ongoing projects. So click on Filter again and add a new filter rule, where Status is Ongoing. Duplicate this view and call it All Projects. Click on Filter and delete the filter regarding the status only. Click on Settings, Property Visibility, and enable the status label. Now you have two views, one for active projects and another for all projects. If you want a more cohesive layout for this last view, you can add a group rule. Click on Settings again, then select Group, then Group by Status. You can rearrange the order of the groups to your liking. Click Out, and now you can see the three toggles for each status group. Next, let's add another heading and call it Task Planner. This section will display tasks grouped by project. Let's add a linked view of the task database and call it Active Tasks. Hide the database title and the vertical lines. Click on Done. First, let's add a grouping rule to categorize tasks by project. Then let's clean the view by hiding two properties we don't need, like area and project, and rearranging the order of the columns. Lastly, don't forget to add the filter to show only tasks connected to a specific area. And a second filter to only show tasks where the checkbox is unchecked, so all outstanding tasks. Now let's duplicate this view and call it Completed Tasks. This time I don't need a grouping, so I'll remove it. And I'll change the filter for the checkbox and set it to Checked. I'll hide the energy, importance, and urgency columns, since I don't really need to see them here. Then click on Settings and Property Visibility. I'll display the project column for clarity. The template is now complete. Let's click outside the window and set this template as default. You can then change the icons of the pages. In this case, you could choose different icons for each area, but for the purpose of this tutorial, I'll select just one icon. Perfect! The background setup is complete. We have all main databases connected and with their respective templates for specific workspaces. Now we can work on the dashboard's layout and design. Let's create some space below the title and add a divider over the database toggle. This section will end up being a footer. The first element I want is my task calendar. So let's add a heading and call it Calendars. Below, I'll add a linked view of the task database and select Calendar as a layout. Call it Week. Hide the database title and show the calendar as a week. Click on Done. As for the properties, I'd like to see the checkbox to mark tasks as done and the energy levels to better visualize my daily schedule. Duplicate the view and call it Month. Let's change the option to show the calendar as a month. Now you have your calendars ready. Let's move to the planners. Add a title for the section and a linked view of the tasks database in table form. Call this view Unscheduled. Hide the database title and the vertical lines. Duplicate this view and call it Today. Then duplicate the view once again and call it Overdue. First of all, we'll set up the first tab, the Unscheduled. This view is where you'll input all tasks that come to mind as an inbox section, and where we'll set up a system to help prioritize and organize our daily schedule implementing the Eisenhower Matrix and the energy system that we talked about before. Step 1. We need a filter to only show tasks without a deadline, meaning where the When property is empty. Let's rearrange the columns and hide the Area property. Now, I want to add a sorting rule that will sort tasks based on their importance and urgency. Basically, I want to see all urgent and important tasks first on the list. To do so, click on the Sort icon on the database menu. Select Urgency and Ascending. Then click on Add Sort and select Importance, Ascending. Click Out. Now let's edit the task updating the importance and urgency properties to test the sorting. If we've done everything correctly, we should see that all tasks flagged as important and urgent will appear first on the list. Remember that the order of the options in the two select properties has to be the same as mine, with important and urgent as first options. Otherwise, the sorting rule should be set as descending. Now that the Eisenhower Matrix is set up, you can easily decide on the tasks that should take priority. there's another element that we need to keep in mind when we organize our schedule, and that is the energy each task requires to complete it. To avoid burnout, stress, and decreased productivity, I will try to follow the principle that allows only 2 high-energy tasks per day. So let's evaluate each task on our list and decide on their complexity and time frame. The first task seems a high-energy task. Same with the second and third one. Go over your list and assign energy labels to every task. Now, let's see how we can schedule tasks properly to set us up for success. You can do it directly from this view by editing the date property, the when column. Let's, for example, schedule some tasks for today. You will see that when you assign a date, the task will disappear from this view and appear on your calendar. Now, immediately we can see that we have 3 high-demanding tasks on the same day, which goes against our principle. So let's see if we can reschedule one high-energy task for the next day. Okay, now our daily schedule seems more feasible. We can then move on to our time blocks. Time blocking allows to organize a more productive schedule, avoiding overlappings. We can use the second tab, the one called Today, to create our daily plan. Let's open this view and add a filter where the when or the date property is relative to today, this day. In other words, when the date is today. This will only show tasks with a deadline set to today. You should see our 5 tasks here. We will use the when column to manage time blocks. Following the Eat the Frog principle that suggests tackling demanding tasks first when your energy levels are highest, we want to schedule the most time-consuming and difficult tasks early in the morning, if possible. Let's say that the meeting with a client is set to 2 p.m. This is an appointment, right? Let's click on the date property and turn on Include Time. Set the time to 2 p.m. and click Enter. You can see the time next to the date now. This means that the other high-energy task should be scheduled in the morning to allow our mind to properly rest and prepare between the 2 cognitively demanding tasks. Let's time block the business proposal to 9 a.m. Now that our biggest concerns of the day are taken care of, we can schedule the rest of our calendar however we see fit. Experts suggest to end the workday with something simple to boost our morale and end on a positive note. I then want to see all my tasks in order, so I can add a sorting rule to the date property. The time blocking section is now complete. Let's work on the last tab that will show only overdue tasks. Open the third view. Here we need to see tasks that we haven't completed on time. And we'll use filters for this purpose as well. So add a filter. Firstly, we need to see all tasks where the date is before today. Then select Add to Advanced Filter and add a filter rule. The second condition is that the task is incomplete, so the checkbox must be unchecked. Which means that every item that has a past due date and is not marked as done will appear on this view, allowing us to reschedule it. The Overdue tab will help you evaluate any area where you tend to procrastinate more or that you are unable to complete on time. This could be a sign for you to review your scheduling system or to delegate some activities in your workflow. You can now assign different icons to the planner views to make them stand out. We are almost done. We just need 2 more sections to access our projects and areas. Let's create a heading for the projects, and below add a linked view of the projects database. Select the gallery layout and group the pages based on the status for easy access. Perfect. Now let's repeat the process for the areas. Create a title and a linked view of the areas database with a gallery layout. With this, we have concluded our essential productivity dashboard. We now have dynamic calendars to see our daily and monthly schedule, We can arrange items and mark tasks as done directly here. Plus, we have a supporting system that will help us map out an effective and productive daily and weekly schedule, avoiding burnout and fatigue. The result will be a better workflow and an increased productive capacity. I hope you will try this setup and expand on it when you feel ready. Let me know if you have any questions regarding the tutorial. I hope it gave you value. In the box below, you'll find a link to download a more complete version of the template with a few bonus features. As always, thank you so much for watching and happy planning!